The only cause of illness is lack of energy. There's no other cause for illness. 86% of all illness and doctor visits are caused or related to stress. 86%, that's a proven statistic, clinical statistic. 86% of all illness and doctor visits are related to stress. Stress is the main energy drainer in our system, but it is not, George, physical stress, and you know this from your research with dreams. It is mental and emotional stress. It is living in constant worries, doubts, and fears, having lack of self-confidence, lack of self-esteem, lack of self-love, having no hope, having no goals, having no future. That is basically the energy I'm talking about, because if you are really alive and you love yourself, you love your life, you have hope for the future, you have self-respect, you have self-acceptance, you get up in the morning and you are excited to get into that day. This is the energy that I'm talking about, George. That is the energy that keeps you healthy. That is the energy that keeps you motivated. That is the energy that keeps you going. And this is what people really, really need to understand. The medical profession is the #1 cause of death in the Western civilized world. The medical profession is the #1 cause of death. Chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery is killing people, not curing people, because it gets the energy level even more down. Chemotherapy is a leftover of the First and Second World War, based on mustard gas. Mustard gas is forbidden as a war chemical after the Geneva Convention. That's what they put directly into the bloodstream of people, and hoping when after everything dies that the patient still stays alive, and then only the good cells renew and the bad, the cancerous cells, will not.
Yet it kills everything, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It is, it's like you get out in your backyard and you have, of course, flowers and grass and you have trees and bushes and some weeds. Now you kill your entire backyard. Let's say you take Agent Orange and you kill your entire backyard. And then all of a sudden you hope that only the flowers and the grass and the trees will come back and the weeds will not. That is,
and the odds of that happening are pretty remote, aren't they?
It is really important that people understand chemotherapy causes cancer. Chemotherapy never did cure cancer in one single case. The medical profession has a cancer cure rate of 2%. 2%. People that do nothing, 27% get cured by absolutely doing nothing. And Dr. Simoncini, the great cancer healer, oncologist from Rome, Italy.
Oh, he's the one who uses soda bicarbonate, right?
Absolutely. He is using simply baking soda, a couple of cents of cost to cure cancer. And basically all kinds of cancers. But we have to define the cancer symptoms, because cancer is basically a symptom. It's just a symptom of an immune system that's broken down.
So that 27% of people who have cancer, they do nothing, but they end up getting cured. 27%.
Absolutely, George. Because usually cancer is not an illness. Cancer is a symptom and usually a wake-up call. Mm-hmm. These 27% basically get this wake-up call. They start thinking about solutions. They start thinking about what they have to change in their life. They are thinking about getting rid of the energy drainers, the negative people in their lives, the people that do not support them or the healing process, people that when you talk to them on the phone and you hang up, you feel completely exhausted. I call them energy vampires.
Yeah, and there are many out there.
Oh, yeah, there are many out there. And people need to get rid of these, and they have to make a list of people that really need to be eliminated out of their lives if they want to survive cancer. But very often, it is really the job, George, that keeps them, that kills them in the whole meaning of the word. We have the main heart attacks, deadly heart attacks, Monday morning between 8 and 9, when people get ready to a work week that they cannot handle anymore.
Stress.
Stress. It is all stress. Stress is the only cause of cancer. There is 14% is based on diet and accidents like radiation, toxemia, the poisoning, and other factors, but it's only 14%, George, because it's a proven fact that 86% of all illness is caused or related to stress, mental and emotional stress.
And is this stress built up over time, or is it a short-term thing that can get you?
It can be both. Usually it's built up over time. It's hanging on to a really horrible relationship that you know it's wrong, but you hang in because of the children or what the relatives will say or the neighbors would say. This is the main cause, in my experience, was working with over 35,000 cancer patients. And let me say here, there's 2 independent studies conducted that came to the conclusion that I have a cancer cure rate of 92.3%. And I can prove this again and again and again, because the only patients I ever lost were the patients that have been damaged by the medical profession too much when they came finally to me. So they have been damaged too much before they came to me, and I could not get rid of the damage caused by the medical profession. But I never, ever lost a patient that came to me fully functioning, mentally fully functioning, that had not had medical treatment before they died. Not one single one. The same is true for people with muscular dystrophy or Parkinson's disease. Alzheimer's, for example, is the easiest thing to cure, and so on. But we don't want to digress too much. It is really, really important that we have hope, that we have belief in our future, in our healing, in our self-healing, because the medical profession is using fear to push you, pressure you into the treatment that will kill you. The last 15 years, George, nobody died of cancer. Everybody died of the side effects of the treatment. It's, for example, prostate cancer. You couldn't even die of prostate cancer if you tried. You can't. It's impossible. But people die of prostate cancer because of the treatment. They die from chemotherapy and radiation or from surgery. Surgery usually spreads the cancer throughout the entire system. And then all of a sudden they say, oh, you have a very aggressive or fast-growing cancer. No, they made it very aggressive and fast-growing. Now, usually they cut into it one way or the other. It's like with mammography or biopsies. If a woman has a lymph node that is basically cancerous, that means it's extremely toxic material in a lymph node. Now, if these poor women go and have a mammography which puts 50 pounds of pressure on the most sensitive tissue of the female body, the most gland-loaded part of the human or the female body, the breast, they put 50 pounds of pressure on it. Now imagine this lymph node is now swollen, it's infected, it's inflamed, and they put this pressure on. Usually they burst it, and that caused basically the breast cancer or the fast-growing cancer. Or they do a biopsy. It's the same like a surgery. They pinch into it, and because they open it up, it's like a bubble that's under pressure. Mm-hmm. The toxins shoot into the system and poison the entire poor human being. And surgery is even worse. It's the anesthesia, it's the poison that kills you partially to be ready for the surgery. Then you get the physical trauma. You get cut, you get sliced open, you get damaged, and then the drugs and medication and painkillers they gave you after the surgery. Now, an illness, a condition that is caused by lack of energy is now, multiplied by thousands and thousands of percent with more lack of energy. That means there is no other way than for the cancer to shoot out and spread out into the entire system. If people ever survive surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation, they survive in spite of it, not because of it. And I am absolutely sure not one single person that ever survived chemo, radiation, or surgery really had cancer. There is an absolute fact that close to 50% of all cancer positives are false. So 50% of all women that has their breasts sliced off, slaughtered off, did not even have cancer at the first place. But they will not tell you that because of the ramifications of getting sued and so on. George, you and I, every listener knows that radiation causes cancer. So how can, every time a woman gets a mammography, first of all, I'm completely against this hoaxes of early detection. Anyway, early detection just kills you early. It doesn't prevent anything, and it doesn't cure you. There's absolutely no way. It's the opposite. Early detection means early death. They just try to produce customers, to create customers with their early detection hoaxes.
You think it's all about the money, Leonard?
It's only about the money. It's only power and population control and the money. That's all what it is. There is no other reason, because cancer is the main money maker in the industrial, in the pharmaceutical or medical field. Cancer is their oil. It's the oil industry of the medical profession.
Billions of dollars.
Every cancer patient statistically brings $400,000 to $1.8 million from diagnosis to death.
Oh my God! That much?
That much. MDs do not have, in general, any kind of natural education or natural treatment education. But even if they had it, they are not allowed to use it or apply it. It's all controlled by the medical profession based on John D. Rockefeller, the old one, the original guy, who created the medical profession. He needed salespeople for his chemicals. And the salespeople he created is called the medical doctor, the MD. He created the curriculum for all the universities, and he created the medical doctor curriculum. And of course, by coincidence, the only elements that would help and cure people, in his opinion, were the chemicals he produced. And he made sure that the medical profession is really locked up into the spider web he created. It's still based all and controlled all what the old John D. Rockefeller created. And the medical doctor in America is usually not trained for any kind of natural therapy forms. Like, I could give a patient in Europe vitamin C injections, 100 cc's 3 times a day, and the tumors are gone in 12 days, 16 days. I can give them oleander soup. Oleander soup will cure or get rid of tumors in a couple of days or a week. To make sure that people understand these are only the symptoms. The cancer or the tumors, the cancerous growth, these are only the symptoms of toxemia, of acidosis, and lack of energy caused by mental and emotional stress. A medical doctor in the Western world is not trained to cure any form of disease. They are only trained to have a chemical influence on symptoms, to suppress symptoms, and then they hope, or in the past they hoped, that the body heals itself during this time of symptom suppression. And this is basically where the problem is now, that the medical profession now even creates illnesses. The main cause of new illness is the side effects of prescription and over-the-counter drugs.
Dr. Leonard, surely there are great people in the medical profession out there, right?
Of course there are, because everybody that becomes a healer has the right intentions, and they just get disillusionized after the first 5 to 10 years when they understand they have not been taught or been able to cure or help anybody. You cannot expect, if you disrupt the natural cycle, that you create a positive result.